There's a Chinese saying, 死要面子,活受罪, which means something like a person will go through hell for the sake of keeping up appearances, for the sake of face. Last time, I talked about how many people experience that need to preserve face at all costs, either their own face or the face of someone else, and how this is a significant barrier to people taking ownership for their mistakes or for apologizing. For years, I thought face was the equivalent of pride, something we need to get rid of. But then I encountered a new perspective. What if face isn't something we need to get rid of? What if it's redeemable? Hi, I'm Dr. Jolene Kinser, and I'm so glad you're here. Today we're continuing in Chapter 4 of Changing Normal, Face Matters. If you are Chinese or Asian and you hear me say, the topic of face is really complex, not only will you most likely nod your head in agreement, but you might also sigh and shake your head, saying something like, yeah, face is a really big issue. You instantly know what I'm talking about. But if you're from a Western culture, you might look at me blankly and ask, what is face? And when I ask if you've heard the phrase, losing face, saving face, or to give face, then you begin to nod and to connect with what I'm saying. My simplest way of describing face is like this. A person feels like they have face when their reputation is intact, their identity is secure, and they feel socially affirmed as having value to others and to their community. In his book about face, Dr. Chris Flanders argues that face is not inherently bad. From the beginning, God intended for us to sense acceptance and worth in our relationships with Him and with each other. God planted in the human heart that longing to be respected, honored, valued, and accepted. And these are the roots of face. Think back to Adam and Eve. In Genesis, we see that God had a relationship with them. There was open and transparent communication. There was harmony that occurred on all levels between God, humankind, and the world. And though physically naked, Adam and Eve felt no fear. They had nothing to hide from God. In face terms, you could say that Adam and Eve perceived that their reputation was intact, their identity was secure, their value was affirmed. It was only after the fall, only after Adam and Eve disobeyed God, that they felt afraid and hid. And from that point on, people have used negative face-saving strategies such as hiding and denial to respond to situations where we feel shame, embarrassment, and a loss of face. Our face problems began when we started looking in the wrong place for our own face needs to be met. To other people, not to God. The good news is that God is a face-giving God. He is the ultimate giver of face. Only God will never leave us or abandon us. No person is truly capable of this. Dr. Flanders says, God faces us with a face of grace. And it is in the experience of being faced by the face of God that we gain a new and true face. When we shift from relying on others to relying on God to meet our fundamental face needs, our normal way of responding to conflict begins to change. I saw this firsthand in the lives of Chinese Christians who embraced this shift. I'll share the results of this transformation next time. Before then, I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about this new perspective on face? Drop a note. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Take care.